Hello and welcome to the Ardennes. We're here in this historic track in Belgium. We had a particularly incident-free practice, which is a relief given the incidents we had in the last race. But, yeah, there you go. The water is already mounting on track. You'll want to be out there on intermediates, setting a banker lap, which Kernow Crazy Cars aren't. And look, their sectors were purple, already getting overtaken by the people out there in intermediates. Look at that. Klein second, Ishimura first, but the real lap will come now. They need to get out and round before on this long track. They need to get out and round and start their hot lap now. Here we go. Markovic, Tarasova goes first. Tarasova! Oh, wow. Tarasova, Markovic, Klein, Maglic. A front two-row lockout by Braun Cocktail and Kernow Crazy Cars. They are followed by Rafa Azevedo, Schweitzer, Lucas, Eriksson, Pesinen, and Singh. So, we could have quite an intriguing start to the race here from the front two, well, the best teams in the championship at the moment. It'll be very interesting. A lot will ride on how good a start these drivers will get. And we're at 5 lights, and away we go. Tarasova gets a good start. So does Markovic. Klein gets a bad one, but she recovers well. That looks like Arejo Azevedo trying to force his way up the inside, and he's managed it. He's up there. They're through a roof in Radion onto the Kemmel Straight, and now into a chicane that looks nothing like the one that exists in real life. And Arejo Azevedo takes third. Brilliant move from him. Tarasova will not be happy with her teammate providing such a poor defensive position there for her chief championship rival. Markovic in second. It's interesting to see Maglic down there in fifth. Certainly Kernow Crazy Cars, you wonder whether they won't be able to compete for the Drivers' Championship like this, given how equal their drivers and machinery is. But it will be quite interesting to see, because this consistency of placing and positioning has really helped their cause in the constructors. But here we go. Let's have a look at the detailed standings, and we can see a bit more of how everything's currently looking. Tarasova from Markovic, from Arejo Azevedo, from Klein, Maglic, Lucas, Schweitzer, Singh, Morel, and Gouet. The highest of the non-super softs, it's Singh, with Morel and Gouet both on mediums, which is actually... Ooh, look at Klein. Klein's under pressure there from Maglic again. And Lucas. Lucas is going up the outside of Maglic. He's now got the inside line for the next corner, and indeed this one, the semi-hairpin, and he gets past beautifully. Zach Lucas, the four-time world champion, really looking impressive. Meanwhile, Martin Giles overtakes Marty Pesinen. Nishimura in last. I wonder what happened to him. We shall see. Tarasova, of course, already 3.5 seconds up the road. This is this really is going to be down to who can limit the damage, you would assume, after such a dominant start from Tarasova, who hasn't won in 4 races, remember. It's an unprecedented level of drought for her in this season, where she's always been up and up there and contending whenever she can. She certainly had the talent for it and the pace for it, but it could well be that everyone else is racing for second today, especially in a track like this that's so twisty and so many opportunities to gain time through expert driving. There is quite a knot of drivers back here. Zach Lucas under pressure from Lucas Schweitzer, and who is in turn under a bit of pressure from Hit Singh. Now these two will need to be careful when they're scrapping, because Hit Singh, look at him, he's right up close. Either of them make a mistake, Hit Singh is going to be there to capitalize, and Hit Singh, going for the move himself, isn't quite able to pick it up. And Veronique Morel is chasing them down a bit there behind. Zach Lucas is about 8 seconds off the pace already. We're a few laps in, admittedly, and of course with many laps, with not many laps to be done with such a long course. Let's have a look then at Markovic and how he's running. He seems to have a slight tire advantage. He's looking after them a little better than Tarasova, a little better than Araujo Azevedo, who are his two closest competitors on track here. But he is carving out a nice little gap for himself, bringing down the gap to Tarasova a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised if he stays out an extra lap on these compared to Tarasova especially, who is burning through her tyres trying to put time into him. And yeah, Tarasova, she's going to be coming in. Here we go. Tarasova's in. Araujo Azevedo now out in first, because interestingly enough, Markovic came in maybe to match Tarasova and maybe to put on some medium tyres there. Very interesting. It's a long pit lane here, but it does drop you in a more advantageous position. You don't need to worry about taking the corner there. It will drop you straight back onto a long straight, or a long kinked straight up to Eau Rouge Radion. Araujo Azevedo now getting chased by Klein, Lucas, and Maglic. Lucas and Maglic having an almighty tussle. You'd assume both of them are coming into the pits. Indeed, they are. We're going to position ourselves so that we can watch this little pit lane battle that will be happening right now. So Araujo Azevedo is in. He's got a third slot in. There comes Lucas. There comes everyone else. Look at them. So many people in the pits here. Schweitzer is up there. Araujo Azevedo is first out of his pit box, and he manages it. There we go. He's onto the regular softs. Our second hardest tire. I wonder if he'll make it out in front of Markovic. I don't think he will. He won't. He won't. So he's behind Markovic. There's Naomi Klein behind him on the mediums. Maglic on the softs. Lucas back on the super softs. Interestingly enough, Tsing on softs. Schweitzer on super softs. Meanwhile, behind them, Anene, Nishimura, and Tarasova pitted there. Tarasova about to get overtaken by Barnes, and then immediately overtakes him again. Never mind. Interesting. Very interesting. So Tarasova ends up on 18th. Not the best pit stop for her, really. She's been undercut by practically everyone. But she will gain a few positions back as De Toro and Mackenzie stop. Gouet, I wonder if he's coming in. He is. Surprising considering how much life he has left on those medium tyres. We'll just watch everyone fly past him. Now, Araujo Azevedo has soft tyres on. You would expect him to try and hunt down Markovic, but he's not pushing too much. And Markovic, in the meantime, is. He's well churning through his tyres and indeed some fuel. Araujo Azevedo, maybe weirdly enough, going for a kind of outlasting tactic on Markovic here. But it is a significant deficit now, 4 seconds back. Klein marking Araujo Azevedo as any good second driver teammate should do. Maglic a second off her as well, so it's a very, very tight at the top. Tarasova had an absolutely awful stop. I wonder if there was something that I missed in the middle of all of that. Something that coverage missed, because she's so far back now. And it has widened, I mean, it's completely opened up this race at this point. Tarasova is going to have to pull off something quite special in order to get towards the front again. She might be able to manage some points. It is damage limitation for her at this point with 10 laps remaining. You would assume everyone's going to have to stop again. No rain scheduled. The option, I suppose the prime tyre for this one would be Markovic is in. Markovic is in, and he's onto softs. I was about to say the prime would probably be the super softs and the option the softs. Very interesting. So Markovic is going to try to go to the end on these after swapping off the mediums for this quicker tyre. Araujo Azevedo, you would assume, is going to come in here and maybe switch to super softs. 7 laps of this on super softs. It's doable, probably. It's going to be tight, though. He's staying out. 6 laps of this and super softs. I think that's doable. But he's only got a 6.5 second lead over Maglic, who is also pitting. Schweitzer will have to pit. Mackenzie will have to pit. De Toro will have to pit. He has a 24-second advantage over Markovic in this long pit lane. I'm not sure that's enough. We will find out. In comes Araujo Azevedo into the pits. Here he is. He's going to be stationary for a long time. There comes Markovic. He's coming onto the straight now. He's passing the pit lane. It's going to be close. Markovic round the corner. Araujo Azevedo coming round on the exit. He doesn't make it. So he is about 2 seconds off Markovic there. Markovic in the end closing him down quite well. So Araujo Azevedo on the faster tyre and a newer tyre. A lot depends on how much fuel they've managed to save respectively. how heavy their cars are, and whether Araujo Azevedo can hunt him down and pass him as De Toro holds him up. But not that much. De Toro's just been passed. Araujo Azevedo will now have to take him, although De Toro should be going to the pits. He just took him easily there. Right, it's going to be a shootout. Araujo Azevedo and Markovic. You remember this happened in Cape Town with Araujo Azevedo hunting down Markovic. He's got a lot more time here, but you would want him to take him and pass him within the next couple of laps if he could, because those super soft tires drop off a lot harder than the regular softs. Even though Markovic is burning through them, trying to maintain an advantage, both of these drivers will be looking to take full advantage as they can on Inner Tarasova, who has had a terrible. Here goes Araujo Azevedo. He's got him. What a fantastic move up the chicane. Markovic could do nothing. He saw him coming, but he just couldn't stay with him. Although Markovic is now coming back at him. Araujo Azevedo will want to put another second and a half into him here. He'll want to just try and pull away down the straights, and he is doing so. Look at him go. Araujo Azevedo putting time into Markovic, but Markovic just about hanging on, only giving up a tenth here and there. So, let's look at our top 10. Araujo Azevedo from Markovic, from Maglic, from Klein, from Tsing, from Lucas, from Schweitzer, from Morel, who's just overtaken Havana Eriksson, from Luke McKenzie. So, a good result so far for both Start and Park Racing, with two cars in the points, and of course a fantastic one for Kernau Crazy Cars, assuming neither of their drivers managed to bin it. Markovic keeping in touch with Araujo Azevedo, who is doing his level best to get away, but Markovic is keeping him within arm's reach, and this might swing back towards Markovic later on the race as those tires wear through. But look at that great series of corners from Araujo Azevedo there, putting almost a second and a half into Markovic. We'll speed things up so that we can watch this final lap. It's a second and a half. Markovic isn't going to catch him, barring something absolutely catastrophic. Araujo Azevedo is going to sweep home and take his fourth win in 5 races here in the Ardennes. Here he comes. Araujo Azevedo in first. Hard-fought victory with Markovic in second. Maglic some way back in third. Naomi Klein with another consistent recovery drive in fourth. Tsing in fifth, chased by Zach Lucas, Schweitzer, Morel, Eriksson, and McKenzie. Well, Naomi Klein's race prevented it from being an absolute loss for Braun Cocktail, but there must have been something that happened to Tarasova there that we missed, because she lost a huge amount of time, and her rivals have taken full advantage of that. Araujo Azevedo now well in control. Very interesting to see the implications for this in terms of the championship, because Kernau Crazy Cars, you would assume, have probably stretched out a bit of a league at the top of the constructors, whilst the drivers will become very interesting indeed. A great race from Araujo Azevedo, and a very good one from Tsing as well. A terrible one from Tarasova. Uncharacteristically awful race from Inner Tarasova there. Marcos Araujo Azevedo now takes first place in the Drivers' Championship by 8 points. Vinko Markovic only 14 back from him. This is getting extremely interesting towards the end of the season. Kernau Crazy Card now nearly 50 points ahead of Braun Cocktail in the team's championship standings. Well, 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 well. How interesting. We will see you in the very next race. Thank you all for joining us.